Thank you, everyone. Can you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Legislator O'Reilly, would you do this, please?
Mr. Chairman,
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Sam.
thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the May 1st legislative meeting. Just a quick note before we start. Legislator Offer could not be with us tonight. He is down at a Cold War Veterans Conference in Washington, D.C., so I will be chairing tonight's meeting. Can I get a roll call, please, for Diane?
District number 1, Legislator Scuccinaro.
Present.
District 2, Legislator Alverio.
Present.
District 4, Legislator Nasarino.
Present.
District 5, Legislator Albano.
Here.
District 6, Legislator Gross.
Here.
District 7, Legislator Castellano.
Present.
District 8, Legislator LeBeau. District 9, Legislator Giacarlo.
Present.
District 8, Chairman Hepburn.
Thank you, Diane. We're going to start with our proclamations for tonight. Our first proclamation will be given by Legislator Olivero for the support for the 2013 sale of Buddy Poppies.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
My pleasure.
Can our representatives from the auxiliary and the VFW and the American Legion and everyone else please come up? Commander. It's good to see you again.
You too.
Bob, how are you, buddy? You know, every year we invite our ladies auxiliary, members of the VFW, Veterans of Foreign War, to come forward and receive a proclamation that the county has historically issued as long as I've been on this legislature, for many years now. And the sale of the Buddy Poppies is summarized in a very poignant but very powerful statement. You honor the dead by helping the living. The whole idea of the Buddy Poppy stems from World War I. Many of you may know the poem Flanders Field, where this young Canadian captain looked out over a battlefield, and poppies are a very weird type of plant. They grow only when the soil is very much disturbed. They can lay dormant for years, and the artillery shells and the trench digging and the bullets and all the terrible, horrendous acts of war that messed up the soil caused these beautiful poppies to bloom. And the gentleman saw this and wrote the poem Flanders Field, and the poppy was taken as that emblem to symbolize the sadness, the poignancy of the act of war, but also the importance of those who go and give the supreme act for their country, love of country. And we're here today to give a proclamation in support of the 2013 sale of Buddy Poppies. And we don't sell them. What we do is we ask for a donation. I'm a veteran, and I'll stand with my troop, my VFW troop in the town of Putnam Valley. We'll go on the corners, and we'll ask individuals, here's a Buddy Poppy, and 99% of the time, we receive a donation for that. And we're asking you out there to do the same when you see the ladies and the gentlemen with their Buddy Poppies for Memorial Day. And it symbolizes the Memorial Day weekend, the memories and the memorialization of those who gave the supreme sacrifice. So at this time, I would like to give the group here the proclamation on behalf of our county executive, Mary Ellen Odell, and your legislature. You know, There is no words that can express the depth of gratitude we give to our veterans and to those, again, who have given the supreme sacrifice. There's nothing that can touch that. And this is just a little bit token. And I would like to start the donation. Let me see if I have my dollar. Thank you very much. Commander, would you like to say a few
I just want
words?
to say one thing. When you go around, you see the guys in the ladies' auxiliary selling the poppies. Don't avoid them. A lot of people try not to look at us. They don't make eye contact.
Right.
And you know what's so odd about that? A lot of times it's somebody that has an American flag pin, American flag T-shirt, or a hat. They're the ones that avoid you. It really bothers me. And I stay there. I'm very quiet. I don't say anything, believe it or not. I don't say anything. I knew our county executive was going to give me a derisive look about that, but I don't say anything. But some of the guys will actually tell, hey, what's wrong with giving a donation? But don't avoid it. We can only use this money to help veterans and the family of veterans.
Yep.
We can't use it for anything else. If our building needs repair, we can't use this money. If we want to have a party, we can't use this money. It has to be used for a veteran or a family of veterans in need.
Right.
And I'd also like to point out, because so we don't forget, our county executive is a member of the Ladies Auxiliary, so I'm sure you may see her out there. But she is a member of the Ladies Auxiliary. Again, thank you for your support. Don't forget Memorial Day is coming up. Hope to see you all at Memorial Day services.
Thank you very much, Commander.
Thank you.
There you go.
Come on. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. Hi, nice to see Bye.
We're going to continue on while the ladies are finishing up. Thank you very much. Our next proclamation will be by Legislator Scucciamato, support of National Safe Voting Month. Those representatives, please come up.
Who else but Charlie would be up here? And anyone from the police department or the Coast Guard here? Sheriff's Department?
Hi.
How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. You better go back. Okay, May is National Boat Safety Month. Living by the river, I can tell that the number of boats and kayaks and people really enjoying the recreational part of boating, I think the numbers are up. Do you agree, Charlie?
I agree, especially our backwaters, our ponds, Patterson's Great Swamp. All those areas are being used by more and more citizens.
So that brings us to the safety portion of it. It's very important, and the Coast Guard Auxiliary has been able to reduce boating accidents and fatalities through volunteer services. The police are always a presence on the river and our lakes. And I want to tell you how much the county appreciates your service, and therefore we are giving you this proclamation. Putnam County Executive and the Putnam County Legislature do hereby to support the goals of the North American Safe Boating Campaign and proclaim May 2013 as National Safe Boating Month in Putnam County to start the year off efforts right to promote boating safety. Thank you so much for your efforts.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you.
Sergeant Sabo, can you say a couple words about what we do here?
I think our relationship that we've had with Charlie has been great, and it just goes to show that the stuff that we're putting out on the water about safe boating and having the classes, we have one coming up on May 18th, and our vessel inspections is some proactive stuff that we have to do as a police agency because we want everybody to be out there and be safe and quite frankly, to protect what we all like to do out there on the water. And it's been good that Charlie's brought his group, the Trade Association, to make the law enforcement not such a bad thing for the people to have. It's good that we all work together.
Such.
Town of Carl Police, we cover Lake Mayapack. So same thing, we offer boating safety courses. Our first one's May 11th, 11th, sorry. And we work with both the marinas on the lake, Mayapack and McDonald, and provide inspections and free information if you're looking for it.
Thank you.
I'm not representing the Coast Guard. I'm representing a group called the United States Power Squadron. We've been around for over 100 years, and what we do is we teach safe boating so that these guys have an easier job to do. And through safe boating courses, we also save a lot of lives. So that's what we do. Just Google up United States Power Squadron, and you get all the information you need from there. And you'll probably be calling me for a course. So.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Robert.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Next proclamation in support of Older Americans Month 2013, connecting with the community, Legislator Nasseri. Have those representatives please come to the front. Thank you.
I'm getting tired of being the older American. Taller than someone. I'm always the runt.
No, I am. Good evening. Tonight we proclaim Older Americans Month, May 2013. Putnam County acknowledges older Americans for their wisdom, their experience, their expertise, and the value that they bring to the communities. Better known as the baby boomer generation, those born between 1946 and 1964, part of my generation, baby boomers certainly changed and redefined American culture. As now they are called older Americans,
Thanks.
they will continue to be an unstoppable force in our society. So on behalf of the Putnam County Executive and the Putnam County Legislature, we here do proclaim as May 2013 as Older American Month and urge every citizen to take time this month to recognize older adults and the people who serve and support them as powerful, vital citizens who greatly contribute to our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'd just like the legislature, keep in mind, seniors need buses and they need nutrition centers. God bless you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Next proclamation is recognizing the 8th Annual Children's Expo and Public Safety Day. Legislator Castellano will be presenting. If there are any representatives to come front, we appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, as if there's anyone here for this, that'd be great. We'd just like to have this proclamation recognizing the 8th Annual Children's Expo and Public Safety Day. The 8th Annual Children's Expo and Public Safety Day is scheduled to be held this Saturday, May 4th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. To raise awareness in the many aspects of child and public safety. This event is co-organized by the Children's Advocacy Center of Putnam County and the Bureau of Emergency Services. So we'd like to proclaim Public Safety Day. this weekend, this Saturday, and we hope everybody comes out, and we want to thank you for the event.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We do have some flyers here that we're going to pass around, and it really is a fun event, so hopefully everyone will come around.
Just want to acknowledge the Child Advocacy Council and the men and women of the Bureau of Emergency Services putting this on over the last 8 years. It's an excellent day. Each and every year it is getting bigger, and it's fun for the entire family, from children all the way up to adults.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you. Our next proclamation, Small Business Recognition Month, May 2013, legislative roles. Those representatives, please come up. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Keep going.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to present this proclamation on behalf of the Small Business Recognition Month. You know, small business is the backbone of our economy. Often family businesses, they work 6 or 7 days a week. Their families are all involved. It's a hard road to hoe, but they set the tone for hiring and get the economy going. We often think it's the box stores, but the small businesses, I'm getting competition here, the small businesses all across the country. So I'm very proud to be here with these folks and recognizing we have members. You're from the Putnam Chamber?
Putnam County Chamber of Commerce, and we have representatives from all chambers.
I'm from representing Brewster, I believe, here. Okay. There we go.
Putnam Valley, Cold Spring, Brewster, Kent, and Patterson, all in the house.
Okay. Whereas a successful small business is evidence of the independence, initiative, and hard work of the owner-operator, and their spirit has been and will continue to play an important role in maintaining and improving the vitality of our community. Whereas, with the assistance of the local chambers of commerce, small business people provide a variety of services, both business and social, to the community at large. And whereas, small businesses have and will continue to provide employment opportunities for our residents, contribute to conveniences and services to our communities, and therefore be it resolved that the Putnam County Executive and the Putnam County Legislature do hereby proclaim May 2013 as Small Business Recognition Month and urge all citizens to join them in recognizing the contributions small businesses make to the countywide development and to support our local businesses so they can remain vital and flourish in this Putnam County. So thank you all very much.
I would just like to thank our county executive, her staff, and this legislative body. I think we've made great waves in communication between our local government and the business community. And this is an amazing group of leaders here. So thank you. Does any of you have anything you'd like to say?
It sounds like our young customer base is
May 11th. Oh yes, and May 11th is the Shop Putnam Business and Home Expo at Putnam Hospital Center. So please stop by, shop Putnam, and if you have any questions, you can call any of the leaders standing up here. So thank you.
Good, buddy. Thank you, Louis.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Our next resolution, Putnam County Youth Bureau High School Senior Recognition Day, today, May 1st, 2013. Legislator Albano, those representatives, those students that are here, please come up. Thank you.
I understand we have a proclamation for 36 students. We have about 6 or 7 students here tonight. Putnam County Youth Bureau's Senior Recognition is an opportunity to celebrate the contributions young people make to our community every day. of the year through volunteer service and service learning. Whereas Putnam County recognizes our youth as an important community members and values their unique skills, perspectives, and ideas as they lead awareness, service, and advocacy activities. Young Bureau volunteers donate their time to department programs such as Youth Court, Reality Check, and a wide variety of service activities throughout Putnam County. Whereas realizing the need for community involvement, the citizens of Putnam County are proud to unite in assisting our youth to achieve the goals and help them to develop good citizenship. Whereas accomplishments and achievements of those young citizens deserve recognition and commendation of their community leaders, now therefore it be, the Putnam County Executive and Putnam County Legislature do hereby proclaim May 2013 as Putnam County Youth Bureau High School Senior Recognition Day, and thank these students for their long-standing dedication and commitment to community service. I have some names here of some of the students that are here today. Wade Dworzak.
Yes.
Wade. Danielle Grapp. Robin Luzon. Michael Martin. Genevieve
Riccaboni.
And I should know that. Thank you. These are model Americans, and we're proud to have them in Putnam County. Thank you.
I just want to congratulate our youth who have been involved in our reality check and our youth court program for at least 7-8 years, some of you. I want to thank the parents for your support and the legislator and the county exec's office for your support throughout the years of all our programs. And just want to thank the staff here tonight, Adrian, Barbara, Diane, Joe, thank you. And Judge Reese, thank you for your support with the youth court program throughout the years as well. Thank you.
And let's not forget National Law Day today.
And thank you for
It's
reminding
very-
me. Yes.
And yeah, thank you for saying that. I didn't say enough about the staff. Everybody here are just amazing people. I see you at every event, and you just have such a positive influence on our young people, and we thank you for that. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And congratulations to all those recipients tonight. We continue on with our agenda. 3, approval of minutes, State of the County, March 14, 2013, and regular meeting, April 3rd, 2013. 4, correspondence from County Auditor. County Executive's veto resolution number 73 of 2013 entered into the journal. Next, we're going to start with our pre-filed resolutions. I'm going to ask that Chairman Oliveri will take us through health, social education, and the environmental committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I request, with the okay of you, Mr. Chairman, and the members of my committee, that is legislators, yourself, DeCarlo, Legislator Scucciamara, and I, to combine resolutions 5A through 5G. They are memorializations, and they all focus upon the same request to the state of New York, which is to increase the funding of their mandated requirements that the counties and our Department of Health, our Department of Social Services have to face each year. It seems that the mandates increase and the funding decreases. So each one of these resolutions has to do with aspects of that funding, and we're asking this to be memorialized, sent up to the Assembly, the Legislature, and the government. And I'd like to move them as a package, 5A through 5G.
Legislator Oliveri, I have no problem with that. Any comments from the legislators with regards to doing that? Moving them all together? Good. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. 5H is an approval, again, a memorialization from NISAC, a resolution in opposition to the New York State Department of Health, Bureau of Emergency Medical Services for recent significant changes EMS training standards. Now this not only came out of NICEC, but I've spoken to many EMS individuals, and their big fear is this, Mr. Chairman, that as these requirements become almost oppressive, more and more they're adding, it's almost you need a college degree, 2 years of continued course taking to master, to get an EMS certificate. It's turning away our emergency responders, and they're asking to still keep the high standards, but to stop increasing these onerous requirements. And some of them are very foolish. Some of the ambulance individuals that I know, and also fire safety individuals, have told me, Sam, that they're asking us things that we would never encounter.
I guess we're not stopping unfunded maintenance.
There you go. That's exactly it. And what it's going to do is it's going to put a crisis in our emergency services because individuals aren't going to join because they can't get the certification. It's such an intense requirement. So they're asking you to tone it down a bit. And that's what this resolution is about.
Any discussion on it? All in favor?
Aye. And then finally, we are going to request through a memorialization to the governor to restore funding for the Park preschool program, and we'll get into that in a little bit. And I ask you, Mr. Chairman, once Legislator LeBou arrives, if we can move that agenda item up once she shows up here at our forum. But I would like to move this, though, as a separate item. And again, that's a memorialization requesting the governor to restore full funding for the Park preschool program.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Next up is Personnel Committee, which is myself, Legislators Gross and Esserino. I move forward 5J, approval fund transfer, Planning Department, the organization of Planning Department, Planner 1, and Senior Account Clerk. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Next committee, Physical Services Committee, Chairman Albano.
Thank you. On behalf of legislators Hoffman, Scucciamari, and myself, 5K, approval of resolution in support of concluding the Putnam County Septic Repair Program. There's about $1.5 million that we're going to just move into the general fund, and we have about $300,000 that we're going to keep to finish the program because we have to do some monitoring, things like that. Have a motion?
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Approval of resolution in support of Putnam County's use of the WQIP funds to purchase equipment. This is necessary equipment that we need to maintain water quality, vacuums, and different pieces of equipment like that. I believe that was for $2 million. I'm sorry.
Any discussion?
Thank you.
Sure.
I just want to thank the legislature for their support and the committee's support on this item. It's vacuum trucks, part of this initiative for Patterson and Southeast, which will help us in meeting our MS4 responsibilities. And it's not coming from the county funds, it's MS4 CWIP funds, so we really can use it and appreciate it.
Very good, terrific.
Absolutely.
Chairman,
Echo on Legislative Gross's comments. This is a win-win for the town of Patterson and the town of Southeast for compliance in the MS4 program. Will help the towns greatly.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Just note, Legislator LeBou has joined us. Next, 5N.
Okay, approval of the seeker determination. It was determined this is a type 2 action, no further review is necessary.
Terrific. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
5N, last resolution, approval bond resolution, reconstruction, and resurfacing of various county highways. That's for $2 million, and the thought here is to keep up with everything, an ongoing plan that every year we repave a certain amount of roads to keep the county safe.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
One no.
No, that please. One no.
Mr. Chairman, I request at this time that we move that agenda item, the additional up, if we can, sir.
Sure. Any objection to that? We have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Before we do that, though, I need a motion to waive the rules so we can add in 6A and 6B at this time. Although we'll just do 6A. You okay with that?
Yeah.
Additionals, great. So now why don't we go back to Chairman Oliverio and discuss 6A?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As I'm sure everybody here is quite aware that New York State and the federal government in their machinations have decided to limit the amount of funding to many of our most important programs that assist our most vulnerable and youngest individuals. in trying to deal with learning difficulties, emotional difficulties, things that prepare them for school and a great segue into life. And this is the part preschool I'm specifically addressing. Money has been drastically cut from that. So I'm asking that this legislature request that the county executive release $150,000 in fund to power the program from its initiation in July through December. And during our budget process, we request that Westchester County and Dutchess, who also benefit from the preschool program in part, join with us to fund that second half of the year from January to June. This is important in that without this, our children, our Putnam County constituents, our youngest and most neediest, otherwise will be facing up to a 2.5-hour bus ride, exceptional costs in transportation, exceptional tuition costs in other programs, whereas if we can utilize the preschool program now in existence in part, it cuts down our transportation costs and the tuition is less. It was brought to our attention through our Department of Health, our Commissioner of Health, and also former legislator Tamanian talking about the transportation. It will be an increased burden. This literally offsets that cost, and it is a stopgap. It is a Band-Aid, but it gives Park and all of us time to go to our state and federal representatives to say, what are you doing? We intercede at this young age. These children will be fine. They will be okay. They will not be a burden later on. But if we don't do this, inevitably, these children will have extreme problems in their day-to-day dealings at school and then later on as citizens in our community. So this is important, and I ask each of you to vote yay on this measure.
Okay, I know there'll be some discussion, but I will intercede and I will go to Legislator LeBeau. Just a clarification on this, because we've gotten a number of emails today with regards to this, and there are other programs and there are other peoples with disabilities that are out there. And I just want to be clear. When this came before us 2 months ago, I stood up there and I gave a resolution out. And my discussion was for all peoples with disabilities, not just Park, but those who are older, who are getting ready to go into the workforce, who are aging out of schools and the like. And we've really worked hard with just doing that, talking with Senator Katz and State Senator Ball. And I will tell you, there is a lengthy discussion going on. And hopefully, within the next week or two, that $90 million will be restored. So I want to make that clear. Second to that, on Friday during our discussion, and just for the record, this legislative body at any point in time can call for a special meeting. Sometimes it happens, okay, and we have to do that. At that meeting, clearly, we asked questions about if this program were not to be funded, where would the children go? What would the cost factor be? Our Commissioner of Health got up and said to us, I just started to run preliminary numbers, okay? And if we did not have the program, we'd be spending the same amount of money, if not more. So that needs to be added to the record so people understand that moving forward, okay? Because a lot of times it's all about communication and sound bites that are out there. So just for the record, that was part of the conversation moving forward. And I can say from this legislative body, we want to see all that 6% restored for all peoples with disabilities.
And
I'm sorry.
And Mr. Chairman, if I can add, part of the resolution states that if that funding arrives for the preschool, we are to be reimbursed of any money before.
Correct. Legislator LeBeau?
Yeah, I mean, this is just a safety net. For 1 year, to give the school an opportunity to secure funding, hopefully through the state. I agree with this wholeheartedly. The school was slated to close on May 1st, and that's why we had to run and make sure that we had a special meeting last Friday. The money that's being spent on the county level, in my opinion, is not a priority. This issue, in my opinion, is an absolute priority. It's people over goods. And this is about reinstating money for a program that is vital to the community, not about buying a desk or creating executive suite for certain management, purchasing iPods for certain people in management. This is a necessity. This is money well spent. as my colleague said earlier, we're saving money on the short end. It seems like we're spending money, but on the long end, it's absolutely costing. It's saving us because long term, this is a much larger cost than the $300,000. The transportation alone will exceed over $100,000. And again, this is no different than what we did at the 9th hour last year when we reinstated the transit system, giving us an opportunity to see if there was other
And we have a task force.
other means of funding. So I hope all of my colleagues support me. This is very important. This is out of all the decisions we have to make and funding that has to be allocated, for me, this is well-spent money.
We're going to go back around this way, so we'll go Legislator Gross and then come back down.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, as a longtime teacher, I can really understand this, and let me say that the younger you catch youngsters, the need for their academics, for their reading, and all the things that come along, the younger you catch them, the more chance of success down the line. It eliminates problems into their middle school and high school years, so it's really critical. And the fact that we will be, as Legislator Aguirre pointed out, reimbursed later on down the line, I mean, it's not even a discussion item. We definitely should move forward on this. It's for our youngsters, which is really the most important asset in this county. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I agree with all my colleagues. You do the right thing now, this is going to benefit society into the future indefinitely. If you take a student out of school for the few hours of school and special services they have, and then you bust them for an hour or two, it kind of defeats the whole purpose. There's a fatigue factor, and there's so many other things you have to look at. It's just so unproductive. Bottom line is, we want to do something to keep things moving, and we hope the state steps up to the plate. That's our wish, because we just can't do everything. So I think this is a good thing, and I'm going to vote yes.
Thank you. Legislator Nasarino?
I agree wholeheartedly with my colleagues. Aside from the fiscal impact which was discussed, we need to consider our role in government is to protect the health, safety, and welfare of our constituents. Having a school-age child and provide them with continuity is paramount to their success, and to disrupt that would be detrimental to their ongoing success. So I will certainly support this measure.
Thank you. Legislator Jamal?
I agree. I will be voting for this measure, but I caution. I worry that there are other organizations out there that will be in the same circumstances as Park. And what do we do then? Say, no, we can't do it, we don't have any more funds. This isn't a Band-Aid. We have to get to the root of the problem and hope the state comes through, but I caution.
And Legislator Castellano?
I would like to give you my thoughts as well. I happen to be the proud uncle of a child with certainly some needs. Every day he takes the bus for an hour, and I know what a strain that is on his family, my family, and it's a shame. He lives in Connecticut, and he should not be on the bus for an hour. We do need to keep this school open. We do need to push the state to fund this. I'm hoping that happens. I know it's $150,000, and I know it's a huge commitment, but we're going to need to be more involved, especially on the audit committee, reviewing the numbers. And again, I'd like to press the state to fund this project. We don't want to see this school closed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I have a motion by Chairman Olivera. I need a second.
Second.
I ask for a roll call vote on this, Diane?
Legislator Albano.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator DeCarlo.
Yes.
Legislator Gross.
Yes.
Legislator LeBeau.
Yes.
Legislator Nasarino.
Yes.
Legislator Oliverio.
Yes.
Legislator Scuchamaro.
Yes.
Chairman Ogden.
Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to continue. Okay, we're going to continue on. Comments can be made during the recognition of the audience. We are now on to rules, which Chairwoman Nasarino.
On behalf of the Rules Enactments and Intergovernmental Relations Committee, Legislators Castellano, DeCarlo, and myself, I would like to introduce item 5.0, approval of workers' compensation settlement. We have carefully reviewed the documentation, and upon recommendation of our county attorneys, I would like to move this forward. So move.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Item 5P, I would like to move forward approval appointments for plumbing and mechanical trades board. I'd like to appoint Thomas Cabot from the town of Patterson as a resident to fill the term to expire December 31st, 2013, and Kevin Robb from the town of Kent as journeyman plumber for a 3-year term set to expire December 31st, 2015. So
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Okay. The next two items on my agenda are motions pertaining to the item pricing law and are in chorus with each other. The first one is to amend a section of the local law, and the second one is to implement a waiver of fees. This recent law, just for clarification, this law was recently amended on November 13th, 2013. However, concerns were raised about the waiver of fees. The Rules Committee gave this matter our utmost attention and consideration, and even explored the option of rescinding the law altogether. However, upon careful review, we felt that it was very important to uphold this law for ultimate consumer protection, especially for the senior citizen population who really relies on item pricing and knowing what the prices of that can of peas before they get to the register. This fee waiver does not implement or does not affect small businesses. I think that needs to be stressed because there's many miscommunications about what the impact is. We feel the fee waiver fee introduced this evening is fair and balanced and is a result of embracing all concerns and having an open and transparent dialogue, and also speaks to collaboration at its best. So that being said, I would like to move item 5A.
We're going to go to discussion. I think that you're moving it. That's good.
Okay. Approval of local law, section 173, Code of Putnam, entitled Item Pricing.
Okay, so now we're going to open it up for discussion, and after that, we need a second, and then we'll take a roll call. Just for clarity, these are two separate issues. I know they're together, but we have to vote on them separately.
Right.
So on 5Q, Legislator LeBeau?
We'll start. I think as you are all aware, I'm in favor of a repeal of this law, and next month I'll be introducing a repeal. I just want to go over some of the items tonight. I'll be voting no for both of agenda item 5Q and 5R. The reason why this came back, this was passed last November during the budget cycle, November 2012, was introduced in the county executive's budget as a revenue stream, and was kicked back this year because of complaints that came about after a lot of people in the retail sector realized that the fee schedule were the highest fees in the state. And also there was a trigger in the law which required scanners that were very, very expensive. They range between $5,000 and $7,000, and depending on the square footage of the retail space, you were required to purchase several scanners. And also there was no specificity in the law with respect to the footage. It just said square footage. It didn't identify whether it was gross or retail space, selling space. I viewed it as anti-business legislation, so I voted against it last year. And I'm still holding strong on my principles. I'll be voting no against it tonight. And it has been dramatically reduced. It was a 1-year fee for the waiver, and now it's a 2-year fee for the waiver, and the fees have been cut in half by 50%. I don't see the need for it because we're not inundated with consumer complaints, and I just want to reiterate, it's not about consumer protection. In my opinion, it's totally about revenue. And the last thing we need to do is to tax our businesses any further. Thank you.
Discussion? Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Chairman. I understand your opinion and your point of view, Legislator LeBeau. I have to respectfully disagree. There was a great deal of compromising. Kudos and compliments to you, Legislator Nasarino. You ran 2 terrific meetings. You heard both sides. There was a great deal of meeting in the middle. It really was. I was astounded at how much we gave, how much the business industry gave. And when you see a situation like that, we should embrace it, not reject it. It's a real compliment to the working efforts of this county and our business interests. It's a fair law, and it's appropriate because our consumers our constituents also need that protection. And under the guidance of Ms. Noel, I'm certain that that will occur. And compliments to you too, Jean, and you, County Executive Odell. This is a solid piece of legislation. And again, it's a lot of work, a lot of melding of different opinions, and I thought it came out great. So I am
Any
supporting
other
it.
discussion? Legislator Groves?
Mr. Chairman, initially I also voted against this back in the fall. I want to compliment the committee as well on their working with it and working with it and working with it and reducing and modifying the fees. That was a big concern of mine. And so I will support this legislation. One of the concerns about repealing it, as I understand, if we repeal it, that means Putnam County can never enforce anything like this again. It goes to the state, and they can institute item pricing, and they collect the revenue. And that's the last thing I want. So I don't want to put the county into a corner. By approving it with a modified schedule, it gives us the flexibility down the line, and the county can't tell us what to do.
That's not exactly.
Mr. Castellano?
As a member of the Rules Committee, I know we spent a lot of time with this issue, and I just want to point out that it is an optional program. It does level the playing field for everyone. It was brought to our attention. I was not part of the legislature last year, but the consumer protection people obviously brought it to our attention because in their ability to do their job, part of their job is to make sure they're following all the rules. And the rules on the book since 1991 was every item needs to be priced. It obviously was overlooked. There's many counties, this is standard procedure with a lot of other counties that do the same thing. It levels the playing field. There's a lot of elderly people that I've spoken to that actually like the fact that every single item is labeled. So therefore, if you want to opt in and you don't want to label it, there's certainly a benefit to you. The scanner item, we had many compromises, including the scanner. We reduced the scanner to a very reasonable rate, which I don't think anybody complained about. And if you're holding an item that doesn't have a price, what's the big deal about walking down the aisle, checking the price, and saving it for yourself? So I think it's a great compromise. I do think, we went above and beyond on this, and I wholeheartedly support it.
No, I just want to correct something that was said. I want everybody to understand this is a law that's being dusted off. During the Bondi administration, it wasn't enforced because they felt that it was a hardship, it would be another tax. So to say that it's an elective thing to do, to opt for the waiver, well, now it's going to be enforced rigorously. So if you don't want to bear the expense, then obviously you have to go for the fee and you have to apply for the waiver. To me, this has to be fair. I'm by myself here, but I just think at a time when Rome is burning, the last thing we have to do is to now come up with this new fee schedule and enforce this law. Like I said, we're not inundated with consumer complaints. Now all the stores are up to speed with scanners. It's not like 20 years ago when they just introduced scanners. Everything is properly priced. My understanding from the managers of the stores that are here, ShopRite, DeChico's, Hannaford's, they make sure that everything is priced correctly, because if anybody picks up an item and they come to the register and it's not priced appropriately, they get it for free. So the store makes sure that everything is appropriately priced. That's my take on it.
Mr. Albano?
Yeah, I'm going to be voting in favor of this. I think this is a job well done. We spent a lot of time on this. In the past administration, there were fines levied, not a lot of fines. So basically, it was inconsistent. Many years we didn't do anything with it, and there was times when fines were levied. One of the reasons that I'm going to be voting for this is when I looked at other counties, this isn't a ballpark. This is nothing unique. We're not the first ones doing this. So apparently, if the rest of the world feels it's appropriate, to me it looks like it's in line. And we could always look at it again in the future. So I'll be voting yes.
Before we move forward, I'm just going to quickly, this is part of the legislative process and procedures of what we do. Like anything else, when there's a controversy out there, there's information that's put out there. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not true. And we got a lot of backlash about affecting small businesses. As we just heard tonight, that's the heartbeat of our community. This doesn't affect them at all. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we were lobbied. We were lobbied by lobbyists who get paid big money to do their job. Okay? And originally, many people had said, even some of our state and officials, that we're looking to revise it. Never was it said to repeal. So we did our fiduciary responsibility, and by the end of that night, those same lobbyists said, thank you for working with us. So at the end of the day, this is a part of what we do as a legislative body. We gather the information, we have meetings. If we're not sure about something, we have follow-ups. That's what's supposed to happen. And that's what we as a group of 9 have been in charge to do. Can we have disagreements? Sure. That's what happens all the time. But this is something that I think showed what we do and what we need to continue to do. So I will be supporting this resolution. If there's no other discussion, I have a motion. I need a second.
I'll second.
Second. Roll call vote, please, Diane.
Legislator Albano.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator DeCarlo.
Yes.
Legislator Gross.
Yes.
Legislator LeBeau.
No.
Legislator Nasarino.
Yes.
Legislator Oliveria.
Yes.
Legislator Scuccinaro.
Yes.
Chairman Al.
Okay, item 5R. Again, is the approval for implementing the fee schedule pursuant to section 173A of the Code of Putnam County. Again, I think this speaks volumes to our ability to communicate and to collaborate. We worked very hard on this fee schedule. It is now a 2-year fee schedule versus a 1-year fee schedule, which provided more relief to the store. It should be mentioned that only 12 stores presently would be affected by the optional waiver of fees. So this is not the mom and pops, this is not the small businesses, but it does speak to accountability. So I'd like to move that forward.
Discussion? Okay, I need a second.
Don't need a second.
You don't need a second. I'm sorry. All right, let's move on. Roll call, please, Diane.
Legislator Albano.
Yes.
Legislator Castellano.
Yes.
Legislator DeCarlo.
Yes.
Legislator Gross.
Yes.
Legislator LeBeau.
No.
Legislator Nasarino.
Yes.
Legislator Oliveria.
Yes.
Legislator Scuccinaro.
Yes.
Chairman Al.
Thank you. On to audit. Chairman Castellano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the Audit and Administration Committee, Legislators Albano and Nasarino, I'd like to introduce the following. Item 5S. It's approval of a budgetary amendment for finance to provide for a 2013 bond refunding. Again, it's a benefit to the county. I'm going to save quite a deal of money and taking advantage of some of the low interest rates.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Item 5T is the approval of a budgetary amendment for the Department of Social Services to amend DSS budget in accordance to the state approved Child Advocacy Center grants. This is zero fiscal impact, and it's going to take advantage of some grants that we received.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
5U is the approval of budgetary amendment for the Bureau of Emergency Services Homeland Security Grant. Again, this is a grant money. This is incoming money that we're going to use to benefit Putnam County moving forward.
There's no match to it. Question, discussion, there's no match to this, right?
I am not sure on that. Is there a match bill? No. Okay, any discussion?
It's $153,750.
Great. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
5V is the approval of a fund transfer for the Department of Social Services, reclassification of a temporary position to a senior public health nurse pursuant to Resolution 58 of 2013. This again is to move money to the appropriate place to cover this position. It's a zero fiscal impact. I'll move forward.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
5W is the approval of fund transfer for finance for temporary to cover a vacancy position that exists in the tax rolls. Again, we're moving $20,000 to another section to cover this expense. It's a zero fiscal impact, so I'd like to move it forward.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
5X is the approval of a fund transfer for the Sheriff's Department for the road patrol. This also is a zero fiscal impact where someone is retiring, so we're going to move some money to cover road patrol. Again, it's a zero fiscal impact, and I'd like to move it forward.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
5Y. Okay, this is the approval of an ISEC resolution calling on the governor and the legislatures and the New York State congressional delegation to support federal legislation to authorize the states to require collection of sales tax used on taxable merchandise over the internet from remote sellers. I did also got some more information since our last meeting that I just would like to present. This certainly affects larger companies. If your company sells more than $1 million outside of the state and you don't have a brick and mortar establishment within New York State, the initial discussions I found, it was about $10,000. It turns out to be $1 million. So it's large realtors, retailers that sell to New York and don't charge a sales tax, and you purchase the item over the internet, it comes to your house. What I discovered was they're not doing anything wrong. It's sort of a loophole. Certainly the internet is new to a lot of people, and we're still trying to catch up to it. When you buy merchandise from a company that does not own business in New York State, you don't pay a sales tax. The person selling you the product over the internet could charge you the sales tax and report it to New York State, but they don't have to. They're not required to. So we're looking for this federal legislation to make it required. Therefore, if you buy a $60 pair of blue jeans over the internet, comes to your house, delivered UPS or whatever, and you don't pay a state sales tax, when you pay your taxes at the end of the year, you're supposed to report that as New York State sales tax. Certainly there's a large number of people that do report it, and unbeknownst to a lot of people, they might miss it. There's really no clear evidence as to how much money is being missed, and I don't think anybody's intentionally trying to break the law or rules or whatever. But if we can push Congress to make this law, we'll be able to collect this money, and it'll be a benefit to New York State.
Great. Discussion? Yes. Legislator Oliver.
My only concern is that the one advantage these companies have is that, for instance, I belong to the NRA, and I periodically purchase merchandise. They don't have a brick and mortar here, but I pay shipping. And their shipping usually runs between $8 to $12 to sometimes $16, depending upon the item I purchase from them through their National American Riflemen's Association store. That's equivalent. You couple that with sales tax, now you're crippling those industries. So it's a two-edged sword. It's not as clean as it seems. You go to Sears, you pay sales tax, but you're not paying the postage. I deal with something like, well, not Amazon. Amazon does charge sales tax. But, an organization out in California would say, I'm paying the shipping. You add the sales tax. I'm not going to try to purchase from them. I'm going to, stay in New York State. Some would say that's great. But, you can't often find those items that are available on the internet from these internet stores here locally or even within the state. So I'm torn by this one, Joe, I'll be honest with you.
But if I could reiterate, the obligation is on you when you do your taxes at the end of the year.
Believe me, I know my accountant tells me.
Yeah, so either way, whether you pay it up front or you pay it later, you're supposed to pay it.
I know.
Legislator O'Connor?
Yeah, I support this. My answer is, if at all possible, shop local.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
It's hard. If anything is even close, even if it's a little more, shop local. There's companies coming from China and all over the world. I want to see the tax coming to New York State just like the local people have to do.
Legislator Gross?
There's one peculiar piece of this. There are 5 states which have no sales tax, believe it or not, New Hampshire and Delaware being 2 close by. And I know they have a problem in their state going along with this because they'll be collecting revenue for other states. So that's a concern they have.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. And now we're going to go back. We already took this as additionals to 6B. This is approval of NYSEG utility easement and right-of-way for Donald B. Smith campus. This is due to the fact that this weekend, as we had the resolution before, we have a safety day, and there's a need for a actual demonstration that has to do with electricity, and therefore we need that easement from NYSEG. So that's the reason for this, and in fact, why it's an additional. Any discussion? A second?
Second.
Legislator Albano, all in favor? Aye. Great, thank you very much. That concludes this portion of our agenda. We're now to the recognition of the public. I ask if you do come up, please state your name. Let us know where you're from. Please feel free to come up. Nobody wants to come up. Sure.
My name is Jerry Rudnitsky. I live in Hope. I wanted to indicate that I'm very happy that you did approve the funding for the restore funding for the preschool program are. As a former school psychologist who worked for many, many years in the education field, I know the devastating effect that it would have on children not to get the help early. It not only affects them educationally, it affects them emotionally, and it affects their adjustment for the rest of their lives. So if we are able to provide the help and get them back on track, they have a chance at having a really successful life. I did want to mention something about this last item that we discussed, about the collection of sales and use taxes. The small business people who you recognized early in the meeting and indicate that they're important, many of the small business people have been selling on the internet, either on their own websites, on eBay or other places. And if this goes into effect, there will be many small business people who will have to file sales tax forms in 50 different states. That will require weeks and weeks of work. Most of the states now require filing through the internet. And I've done that for at least 6 different states that I do business in by doing shows in those areas. The forms are very complicated. Usually I have to call to find out what they really want and how to fill it out. It can take several hours for each one. Just keeping the records would be virtually impossible. I mean, I can see a large corporation that does business all over the country, and they have many, many employees, and they can handle that. It would require hiring someone to do that. As of now, someone who sells on eBay would pay a listing fee, a final value sales fee, which comes to about 9%, a PayPal fee, which runs about 4%. There are all kinds of additional charges, and those people who want to do better business might include shipping, which we often do, and that eats into our profits as well. So if we are really concerned about the many, probably hundreds of thousands, if not millions of small business people who are doing business on the internet because there's, things like eBay has cut into those businesses. So if you can't beat them by having a store, you have to join them in order to do a business. And that's what we have done. Many of the places that we used to buy, we have an antiques business. Many of the places we used to buy are now out of business, or these people we used to buy from are selling on eBay, and the people we used to sell to are buying on eBay. So we have to find a way to deal with that. And there are probably at least hundreds of thousands of people on eBay, and a tremendous number of people who have their own websites. We have both. I think putting a burden on small business people like that would be a tremendous hardship unless you raise the amount of sales that you have to do in order to comply with that to a very high amount. So I think you'd really be putting a lot of people out of business.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else like to come forward? Susan?
Well, on behalf of the Board of Directors of Park, myself, the Executive Administration, our preschool staff, we have many of our preschool staff here today, and the children that we serve, I want to thank you. I want to thank Mary Ellen, our county exec, for this. Thank you so much, Mary Ellen. I know this was an extremely difficult few weeks, and I really appreciate the deep understanding that you have of the need of the school, the need of the school for the children that we serve. So we have one more year, and I want to just tell you that I'm going to do the best I can this year to get our funding to where it should be, to help you with transportation costs, and do everything else that I can to to make sure that this school is successful on its own. So I just want to say thank you so much, and a deep, deep bow of gratitude to all of you for all of the work you put into this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Paul Road, Director of Veteran Services. The licensing thing that you did for the EMTs, and I want to make you aware of something. There's other problems in the licensing structures of New York State as it impacts veterans. We have a veteran come home that's a combat medic or a Navy corpsman that served several tours, has tons of training, comes to New York State, he can't even get an EMT license. He has to start from scratch. That's crazy. We have legislation that we are working on with Senator Katz to try and correct some of this. A guy that's a truck driver, not even an EMT, a guy that's a truck driver in the Army, CDL qualified, has to start from scratch. His training, everything in the military is not recognized. So we're trying to get something where these licenses will be recognized with military training. So it's more than just the problem we keep changing the requirements. They're blocking a lot of very qualified people from the job market. I just want to make you aware of that. And if you want to talk to our assemblyman about the legislation, please do so.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you. Any other comments? Please come up. I'm sorry, I couldn't see.
My name is Anne Finizzi. I had an economics instructor who said, Anne, look at the budget and you'll know what's important. And tonight, the legislature and the county executive proved that children are important. They are the most important to us. And it goes again, as I said Friday afternoon, that we are the children's county. That's why many of our parents and myself and others came, because we wanted the best for our children. And tonight you proved it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any comments from the audience? At this point in time, recognize legislators. Anybody have any comments? Go this way. Susan? Susan, that was for you.
Hello? I just wanted to remind people that May 18th is Putnam County Hazardous Waste Collection Day at Fallsville Park, right by the Canogas Beach. This is very important. We don't want to have these hazardous waste products around our homes. It includes oil-based paints, kerosene, fluorescent light bulbs, antifreeze, oven cleaners, just to name a few. So please, I think it's from 9 to 1, I believe. Please.
Any other comments?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to wish my mom and all the moms out there Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
This past weekend, the weather was beautiful, and I want to offer accolades to all those that made the opening day at Tilly Foster Farms such a success. It was very well attended. It was great. And on Sunday, I attended a Veterans Loyalty Day along with legislator Oliverio LeBeau and DiCarlo, Chairman DiCarlo this evening. And it was a wonderful event to honor our vets as well. Thank you.
Any other comments?
I'd like to remind the folks, Monday, May 27th is Memorial Day, and I think all the communities in Putnam County will have a parade and events sometime during that morning. And just pause to remember those folks that did not come home for the various wars from our nation's history.
And I just want to say that last Saturday, Putnam County Hospital had medication take-back day, and it was a great success. I was there dropping off medication, and kudos to the health department. It was really well run, and it's very important that we provide this every year for the community. And it was really impressive because I was told that the medication is taken someplace private, and it's incinerated. So, how much?
1,000.
They collected 1,000 pounds. Amazing, remarkable.
Wow, that is.
Very good.
And I'm going to ask that legislator Albano to close the meeting tonight.
Thank you, Chairman.
10% of it was construction items.
So that was taken off the street, as they said.
Good stuff. Thank you, Chairman. I would like to close this meeting in memory of Captain Thomas Sullivan and his family. Tom was a captain of the Larchmont Police Department. He was a wonderful family man and a first responder and a hero. Today marks the one-year anniversary of this horrific fire tragedy where we lost good neighbors and friends. So please keep Tom Jr. and the Sullivan family in our prayers. We will miss them dearly.
Very well said.
Very well said.
Okay, I need a motion. to
Motion
close.
made, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor?
Aye.
Everybody, thank you for coming and have a great night. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Sure, please come on up. No problem. By the way, that's Calvin who's going over there and doing that. That's the young man I spoke about on Friday night. That says it all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Have a great night. Safe trip home.
Thank you.